it's a great pleasure to be here today in this business day, and I have to say that it has been very, I think, encouraging and inspiring to spend these 2 days in Paris in AI Summit, and also meet a lot of our industries and stakeholders, our startups, SMEs and researchers who are working especially on the field of AI. I will use this opportunity for the closing remarks just to focus on those two areas that was mentioned, especially the regulatory part was discussed here earlier. And of course, when we as decision makers, what we can do, what we have in our toolbox, it's very much the regulation, and then of course also the financing and funding part. With those elements, we can support our businesses in the European Union. And I think that it's very much our role as decision makers really to create that kind of framework and environment that encourages investments and innovations. And especially now when it comes to AI, we have to, in the European Union, we have to build to our own strengths, and we have many strengths when you are looking at AI. Especially regulation was just discussed here, and there we have important principle that we want to have a digital environment that is fair and safe and democratic. And it's very much the cornerstone of all our digital legislations, especially now when we speak about AI. Of course, AI Act is a very crucial part of that, but also Digital Service Act and Digital Markets Act. So these are like the main regulations in this field. And also it's important that in the same time when we are keeping these principles that we want to have fair and safe and democratic environment, I think it's also very important that we are looking that we have environment that encourages innovations and investments. And we have to take it now very seriously that we have faced a lot of criticism from our startups and from our SMEs, from our industries, that we have too much bureaucracy and administrative burden in the European Union. Also, we have two fragmented markets, so we haven't achieved the single market yet. So we really have to work in this sector now. And as you know, the European Commission is very committed to simplify the processes and cut bureaucracy and red tape. During the last autumn, it was already stated that we want to cut reporting obligations of our industry 25% and 35% of our SMEs. But now in our competitiveness compass, we upgraded this ambition, and now it's said that we will cut the administrative costs of administrative burden 35% from our SMEs and 25% from all the industries. So all the costs which are coming from the administrative burden. So this means that now we have to take this very seriously and really look from where we can cut our red tape and bureaucracy and how we can simplify the processes. In the same time, we are also working with our single market. Letta report was mentioned here earlier, and he was especially underlining the role of financial markets, energy, and also telecom markets when it comes to single market. And when it comes to financing, we know that we still have many obstacles, especially for our startups to get venture capital and really funding, especially private funding from the European markets. And this is also certainly an area where we are now working. In a few weeks' time, Commission will propose our strategy for our banking and saving and investments union, but in the same time we are also building our partnerships on the private and public sector. AI is needing our special focus in the coming months, and that's why President von der Leyen was just launching our Invest AI Fund. And the aim is now to mobilize investments by 200 billion to AI with this fund. The cornerstone of those investments will be our AI factories. You know very well that we have very good startups and SMEs and research community in the European Union. It's our strength when we look AI. We have thousands of startups which are working on AI. We have thousands of researchers, but often they are lacking access to computing capacity. And that's why we have decided to invest to our supercomputers in Europe to build up their computing capacity and open this capacity for our startups and researchers that they can train AI. This work is already ongoing, and in 1 year time we will have 5 times more computing capacity in our supercomputers than we have today. And this is one of the main tools for how we want to accelerate now the investments and innovations on AI. But also here we upgraded our ambition in our competitiveness compass 2 weeks ago, and we also launched that we want to have also gigafactories in the European Union in the coming years. And gigafactory, it means that it's 4 or 5 times more computing power than our current supercomputers are having. And this, of course, needs investments. So we are investing 10 billion to these supercomputers and to our gigafactories in the coming years. And really, this is the part of our Invest AI Fund, which is aiming to accelerate now and mobilize the investments by 200 billion to AI in the European Union. So we are very seriously that we want to now close the innovation gap we are having. So these are the 2 most important parts. We want to cut red tape and regulatory burden from our industries, make sure that we have one single market. And second part is very much the funding part. We want to make sure that our businesses, they have access to venture capital, and we have also very strong public-private partnerships, and we are working very closely with the European Investment Bank and with the member states really to mobilize investment to AI. Now we are also currently implementing our cornerstone here when it comes to Regulation AI Act. And I'm very committed to that we are now implementing this important piece of legislation in a very innovation-friendly manner. We are currently working with the code of practice with our stakeholders, and we have to look now that this code of practice, it will give really the guideline for our SMEs and for our industries, how to comply with our AI Act. So we don't want to set any extra burden or obstacles for the innovations. We want to support our industries and SMEs, and also with this AI Act, because we want to have a trustworthy environment also when it comes to AI, because we see that it's very important. In the same time, when we are encouraging innovations, we have to be also aware of the risks, and that's why we have this risk-based approach in our AI Act. And we are also now preparing our AI office for that we will also open a service desk for our SMEs who will help our SMEs in the European Union when they have challenges with the AI and if they don't know how to comply with the AI Act. So we want to give all the support and guidance for our industries and SMEs and startups when it comes to AI. And then very last word, when I'm speaking about regulation, we want to have innovation-friendly regulatory framework. We want to also encourage investments in this field, and we will support it with our public funding. And now we are also working very closely with the private sector to also have partnerships here and to mobilize 200 billion of investments to AI. But then the very important part, of course, for us, it's all the time the skills. Because in the same time, when we are now expecting, some experts are saying that in 2 years' time, AI can do everything better than we as human beings. But it doesn't mean that we should stop to invest in education and science. So I think it's very much cornerstone of our competitiveness that we are investing to education, the skills of the people. We are also very much focusing to that we want to have ICT experts in Europe more than we have today. So this is certainly a field to where we have to focus. But we want to be also an attractive place for people from all over the world to come and start their businesses here. So talented workforce, skills and education, science and research, it's very much basis for all our competitiveness. So this is very important third pillar when we speak about our AI continent. And of course then, as a last piece, I want to mention also one important part of our strengths. We have very strong industrial bases in the European Union. And now the next very important step after that, when we have been investing to our supercomputers, to our computing capacity, when we are opening this capacity for our researchers and startups, is really to bring together our traditional industry, who is not using, only 13% is using AI, to also make sure that they are applying these new technologies to be competitive and also more productive in the future. future. So that's why we are working with our Apply AI strategy now to make sure that our SMEs and industry, they can benefit of these two new technologies. And there we can be very successful in the future. So we very much see that Europe can be AI continent in the future, and we are building to our own strengths, to our values, to our own very strong research, to our open innovations, to our open source model, because we want to collaborate and work together and pool our resources together. And we are also very willing to work with all the like-minded countries all over the world, because we are very open for business. So thank you for all of you for gathering here today, and I'm very much looking forward to continue very close collaboration with you, because your feedback is very much needed. Thank you.